I decided to go and try and make portraits of them. And the way I went about it was I just started to befriend my young migrants that I met at hair salons, in restaurants. I just chatted them up. And one of the first people I met was Lily, or Zhang Qiu Li. She works in a hair salon, beauty salon, and she does pedicures. Her boyfriend and her had been in Beijing about 5 years by that point. They had lived in a basement for about 2 of those 5 years. And she's one of the success stories, I must say. She's moved upstairs. She's moved above ground. And one of the things that really struck me was she embodied the spirit that many of the young migrants I met had, which is that they're just going to put up with discomfort for a few years, their first few years in Beijing, and then they're going to make it in the capital, and they're going to move up the social ladder. And she has.
Now, these rooms are small, dark, humid, with very poor ventilation. How has the living situation for the so-called rat tribe changed in the 5 years you've documented them?
Well, these living spaces might seem pretty pathetic to us, and maybe I went in with this pitying attitude as well, but what I found was that people actually make the best of their lives down there, and it's actually not all that bad. The other option for them is to live above ground in partitioned apartments, 10 to an apartment or something like that, which makes for less privacy, actually, and it costs more as well.
Now let's go inside another one of these subterranean basement rooms in Beijing. And in this photo, we see the home of a beautician named Zhao Dan, and it looks like she's posing in a closet. But is that actually where she lives?
Yes, Zhao Dan was in one of the smaller rooms that I photographed. The image basically captures the breadth of her room. It's only as long as a single bed, and then she's sitting with her legs outstretched across the room, and that's the width of the room. Basically, it's the width of a single bed where she sleeps, plus a fat suitcase where she keeps her stuff. She didn't have to live there. She actually earned quite a lot more than she paid in rent. She told me that her rent was about 10% of her monthly wage, but she wanted to live there just because she felt, she's on her own in Beijing. She feels it's cozy, and she wants to save money for better things in the future.
Now, Beijing has over 20 million people. Nearly a third are migrant workers. They're all there looking for better opportunities, for a better life. But what is the reality for them? Is there true upward mobility for them in the city?
I think for some people there is true upward social mobility, and there are many stories of people who come to Beijing, start out living in the basements, and move up eventually over time. But for many people, the hukou system, where migrants can't actually buy homes and settle down in Beijing, is still a huge barrier to them settling here and building lives and families here. I think most migrants that I photographed over the last 5 years in the basements come with this dream of making it, but are also realistic about the time they're going to spend here. Most of them intend to work here for a number of years, earn some money, and eventually go home to set up a shop to raise their families back home.